Tennessee Titans fans, we're almost there. It's a few days away from the Week 1 game against the Denver Broncos. But for right now, Colin Cowherd is talking about the topic of can Cam Ward repair the Tennessee Titans organization? Well, I don't know if one person can do it, but I get what they're going for here. Let's hear what Colin's got to say.
Everybody talked,
Yeah.
We said this a couple times during preseason, is that Denver, from the reporters who bounce around the league at
Sanchez?
Unanimously had an amazing camp. And I want to ask you about that because, the starters don't play as much. There's 17 games. You're not going to play veteran offensive linemen. Did you ever come out of a camp and feel good or bad that it have a direct influence on outcomes?
Oh, I think at camp you need it to, one, physically harden the body.
Okay.
You gotta take those blows. You gotta practice hard against other teams or against your team and truly scrimmage to get ready for Week 1, just to get your body ready for what it's about to endure. And then the mental side, it's lock in, it's full focus. This is all we got, 53 against the world. When we go on the road, this is what we do. So I felt like you needed to check that box, get over that hurdle, reach that rung on the ladder to feel like, okay, it's time for Week 1. And still in Week 1, we're going to get unscouted looks. We're going to get way more turnovers.
I would think it's one of those things where like the Sanchez said, it's beneficial to get the reps and the practice and get the mental, the toughness, all that. But we all know, we've watched long enough to know sometimes it's not just the greatest indicator. Like, how many times have we heard that somebody had a great camp and they had a great preseason and then the season starts and they just kind of don't do anything? Or somebody that didn't have a great camp or didn't have a great preseason, but then the season starts and there they are doing their thing.
One, especially guys tackling, full speed tackling to the ground. People forget, guys are going to really try and knock your head off, and there goes the football. So I think a lot of that has to do with how your camp goes, how you approach it, and how you come out of it, hopefully injury-free.
Now, I picked Denver to win their division. It's not a knock on Kansas. I am, but I don't like the fact that Kansas City lost Tooney and has a rookie left tackle. I think...
I get all that. I just don't know why people are always so eager to jump off of Kansas City and go to another team in that division. I'm of the mindset that until Kansas City gives it away, I'm picking them. Until somebody proves they can beat them, at least in their division, I'm picking them.
This division is going to be 12 wins, 11 wins, 10 wins, and I think Denver, Bo Nix, should be better. I think their defensive coordinator is so trusted by those players in Denver. They add Hufanga and Greenlaw, and they've had a very good camp.
They're good defense.
Are we a little hot on Denver? Because everybody loved their camp.
Well, it's hard for them to be this dark horse sleeper pick because of all the positive PR this offseason.
How can you be a sleeper when everybody's picking you?
You mentioned the division. Every game in that division is going to be a street fight. I mean, Pete Carroll in Vegas and Chip Kelly, they're going to want to run the ball.
Raiders almost beat the Chiefs twice last year.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a more physical division. What does Jim Harbaugh want to do? He wants to run the ball. So as
don't sleep on
tough
the
as
Chargers.
this Denver defense wants to be, they're going to show me through those division games.
Titans,
you can't be too beat up from those division games to then
anything about
lay an egg
their opponent
in some non-division games. But you nailed it. It's the consistency that they got, the coaching staff and the players. They got 16 offensive and defensive linemen on the roster.
In the video description, it said, can Cam Ward repair the Tennessee Titans? They ain't talked about Cam Ward yet. Talk to me now, Colin.
15 of them were there together last year. That kind of consistency, same coaches, same defense. We're going to add 2 key veterans on defense, 2 key veterans on offense. You mentioned
Evan Ingram,
the safety. Bring him over from San Francisco. Tough as nails. That guy's just a heat-seeking missile. And then you get Dre Greenlaw. Similar type of mentality, similar type of play production. I mean, that guy's an assassin.
It's a stacked defense, man.
It's J.K.
I do not envy Cam Ward.
It's Evan Ingram, the tight end.
First
so
NFL
you get the running back and the tight end to help out Cortland Sutton and your year 2 quarterback. I think they've done a lot of the right things, and the consistency is the key.
That data on.
Can you imagine if the Titans beat them? I'm going to be insufferable. Can you imagine if the Titans go in there and beat them? They're getting all this hype. Like, people are saying they're going to win the division. Could you imagine if Cam Ward, in his first start ever, comes in and beats Denver in their house? Oh, my gosh.
The O&D lineman return.
Oh, it's huge.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Listen, one of the things we talked about Cam Ward, I don't remember a number one quarterback pick.
Oh, God, here we go.
Was more under the radar.
Here we go.
He's so quiet. I mean, generally, it's a hype fest.
You remember what the Sanchez said a second ago about how can Denver be flying under the radar when everybody's talking about how they're going to be good? You're not flying under the radar anymore. Okay, at this point, as much as they have said, Cam Ward is the most underrated, not talked about, number one overall pick. At this point, he's becoming one of the more talked about picks because you guys just talk about the fact that you don't talk about him. It's September. The season starts in a few days. They've been doing this since April. They've been saying this. Is this the most every day?
Right.
We're still talking about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. I like what I see of his leadership style. We obviously was a good college player, but I just kind of love that nobody's talking about it.
I think that's, a luxury you have in a market like Nashville.
Yeah.
Not the biggest market. Sure, they love their football, but it's not, New York. It's not Chicago. It's just a different place to be. And you get.
You know what? I appreciate the Sanchez's honesty. I hate that. I hate that, because you're not intriguing enough to us or you're not in a big market, we just kind of turn the other way no matter what you do. That is annoying. But at least the Sanchez is honest and is like, that's why nobody talks about him. It's because that's all I've been saying. They're just not talking about him because he's with the Titans. But what's the most insulting to me is when they don't talk about him, and I know why they're not talking about him, but then they sit there on their show every day and they go, why nobody talk about him? Every day. Every day. They're like, I don't know. Why don't anybody talk about him? It's like, why. Like, do you think I'm an idiot? And then they're like, nobody talks about Cam Ward, but here's our 18th segment on the Cowboys. Nobody's talking about Cam Ward, but here's our 50th segment on the Bears. Nobody's talking about Cam Ward, but here's our 80th segment on Prime's Kid. And I also will say this, though. Tennessee, small market, okay, I get it. Jacksonville's a small market too, but y'all love talking about Travis Hunter. I think Jacksonville might even be a smaller market than Tennessee, but y'all love talking about him. Can't get enough of him. Whatever.
A little more leniency, I guess we could call it. And bottom line is he can spin the ball. And, it didn't look perfect in preseason, but I did see some flashes. And that's kind of what I want to see. I did see the pre-snap process that you want to pay attention to. Yeah. Is this too big for this guy? It sure doesn't seem like it. He doesn't seem panicked. A lot like Jackson Dart, and with the Giants. You see some guys play their first couple games, and it's a deer in headlights kind of deal. So I think they like where they're at.
I hope he's not a deer in the headlights.
I'm curious about that offensive line. They're moving Latham. He was formerly at Alabama, right tackle, played left tackle his rookie year. Now he's going to the right side where he wants to be. And then Bill Callahan and his son, obviously coaching that offense and offensive line. That's an interesting
dynamic. They talk about Bill Callahan more than Brian.
The left tackle from
Pittsburgh.
So that was a huge signing. 4 years, $82 million. They're investing in that offensive line to protect this quarterback. And this is year 2 in a row that they're trotting out, a high draft pick or somebody who they imagine is going to be the face of the franchise. So they want to get it right.
Mark Sanchez joining us, Fox Sports.
I actually think the Sanchez is I think he's one of the most level-headed people I've heard talk about the Titans because he's just calling it like he sees it. Like, hey, nobody's talking about Cam because he got drafted to the Titans and he's got leniency because they're a small market. You know what? That sucks, but it's the truth. And the stuff about the offensive line, every day when I hear people come on TV, they're like, oh, the Titans have got this offensive line. It's going to be great. I'm like, hold on. Let's wait and see. Well, that's what Sanchez said too. Sanchez said, hey, hold on. Let's see. They're moving Latham from left to right. They signed this guy from Pittsburgh. It's not proven. So I think he's right. I think I will continually be annoyed at the hypocrisy of the media. But really, Colin Cowherd, his show's been among the most fair, I think, in the build up to this season. And I thought this was another case of that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tighten up. Bye.